You remember this episode of Phineas and Ferb? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, obviously. This episode.
Honest, I don't really understand, but I got on this hill. Now I got glue on my hands and I got records on my fingers. Records on my fingers. I got records on my fingers and I just can't stop. Don't stop. I can't stop. I got a platypus controlling me. I got a platypus controlling me. Now let me sum it up. It was a strange set of circumstances. I come down the hill. I got glue on my hands. Now I got records on my fingers and I just can't stop. Don't stop. Don't stop. Well, I would if I was able. There's a platypus controlling me. He's underneath the table. There's a platypus controlling him. What?
Oh, I get it. Platypus is a metaphor for whatever's keeping you down. Like corporations are a platypus.
Government's a platypus. Your teacher is a platypus.
My teacher is a panda.
Now, what if I told you there's a secret meaning to this? To this man right here, who just said the one line we need to realize isn't a joke. He said the line, "My teacher is a panda." And now this is obviously like a reference to Peter the Panda, Doofenshmirtz's little henchman thingy. This panda. This is the only panda ever seen in the entire show. Now this is all some little gag, right? I think not. Notice how Peter the Panda used to work for Doofenshmirtz as a henchman, turned against him, and then began helping Doofenshmirtz again. Perhaps at the point when Peter the Panda was not helping Doofenshmirtz was when he was teaching that one random teenager. This would also explain why, if at the point which he was being taught by Peter the Panda, he was also working for the same organization as Perry, which would explain why he's at Doofenshmirtz's house with Doofenshmirtz's daughter. Perhaps this teenager right here is trying to spy on Doofenshmirtz. So you may be wondering how this makes him the villain of Phineas and Ferb. And what I'm trying to say is, this is told from the present, and Perry the Platypus is always aiming the inventions at Phineas and Ferb's house to get rid of their inventions so they don't get caught. If Perry is trying to stop the boys from getting caught, that means he knows what would happen if they did. But wait, Perry does know what would happen. This was Perry's dream in an episode of Phineas and Ferb. Well, in the Second Dimension movie, you can see they have what appears to be buzz cuts growing back, which only in one episode did they ever get buzz cuts. The same episode of Perry's dream. What I'm saying is, Perry, that one, knows the future, as if he's from the future or has been to the future, and has to stop them from getting caught, so he uses Dr. Doofenshmirtz to stop that. And if you're thinking I'm crazy for saying that Perry is a time traveler, time travel is proved possible in this episode right here, where they go back to the dinosaur age. Now, what role does the teenager play in this storyline? Well, as we know, Peter the Panda inevitably went back to Doofenshmirtz. And that was pretty much the last we've ever seen of him. But we never see the teenager again. Perhaps following his teacher, the teenager goes to Doofenshmirtz, where together he helps Doofenshmirtz take over the tri-state area because he has worked for the Alka, the same organization as Perry. And so Perry can't stop Doofenshmirtz. Well, then inevitably Doofenshmirtz backstabs the teenager and ends up taking over the tri-state area and causing the second dimension movie. But in this timeline, that also means the boys got caught building their inventions in their backyard. Which is why, if this movie is supposedly a different dimension, then it has a different timeline. In this timeline, the boys end up getting caught. In the main timeline that we've seen end, they never get caught. Meaning this can never happen. And it's not like there's not other members of Alka that are not animals. Just look at Monogram and Carl. And Major Monogram's son, obviously. And you may be wondering how Phineas and Ferb getting caught has anything to do with the teen taking over, helping Doofenshmirtz and taking over. In the timeline of the second dimension movie, we see, like, Doofenshmirtz have an army of robots taking over for him, who are especially trained to build robots and fight with the said inventions. Well, maybe not fight with them, but they could if they tried. Phineas and Ferb. Without the robot, without them getting caught, they could get everyone in the tri-state area to a safe haven. Not a safe haven, arm everyone and eventually take out the robots that are invading and stop Doofenshmirtz. And what I said earlier, if they got caught, it would eventually lead to the second dimension movie timeline. A movie where Doofenshmirtz rules over the tri-state area with an army of robots. This is also why Perry has to keep his identity secret, because eventually he would have nothing to fight for, and the boys would probably get caught. And if he never knew them, they would got caught immediately, because he would never aim inventions at their place. This would also explain Perry's immediate attraction to both Phineas and Ferb. And in the final episode of Phineas and Ferb, the main series, not movies or anything, Doofenshmirtz is called Public Enemy Number 3 by Perry. This implies there's 2 others that we don't know. We can assume one is the doctor from the one episode where Doofenshmirtz was teaching a man how to be evil and he ended up almost destroying everything. But the other one, could public enemy number 1 or 2, we don't know the order, be this teenager right here? Perhaps he is the evil man that we all think he is. Or at least that I think he is. Summarize this. This kid, evil, gonna help Doofenshmirtz, then Doofenshmirtz is gonna backstab him, causing the second dimension movie to occur, which is Perry's job to stop that from happening. He has been sent back in time from the future to stop Doofenshmirtz at all costs and make sure that Phineas and Ferb never get caught doing what they're doing. That's pretty much the entire thing. Let me know what you think about this. Do you think I'm right? Do you think I'm completely crazy? I'm going to continue believing this until, well, someone who works in Phineas and Ferb proves me wrong, and just up and says, like, that it's not real, that this is not at all true. So, hope you enjoyed this. My first time recording from my phone, so please don't bug me about the quality. Yeah. Hopefully I'll find out whether or not this is true. I may not, but hope you all enjoyed. Consider liking and subscribing. And until next time, peace.